Hey there guys, I am SonicGhost, and welcome back to some more Let's Play Shadow the Hedgehog Expert Mode.
Well, how's it going? You look a little beat. You probably know this already, but if the game ends during all this, you have to start all over. Now be careful. Go and find that gold.
I feel like they really want to make it known to the player, hey, if your game over, that's it. Because we've gotten that message a couple times already. I've even said it a couple times at this point. So I don't know if you knew this, but if your game over, you gotta start from the beginning. Gee, it's like they haven't told us that yet. This level's very interesting because in Cryptic Castle, our dark mission here would be to help Eggman. In this case, we need to take these torches, and we need to light 4 specific areas, which will lead us down a different path, and that will let us light 1 more torch, and that is it for the said mission. 5 torches lit for Eggman, and that does his evil deed. But here's the thing about this mission. If you go down the dark path, you will be led to a dead end. There will be nothing at the final torch for you to light. Thus, you will be forced to take a checkpoint back to where the neutral path would end, as you need to go that direction for where the gold ring is located. And this will happen in a lot of different levels here in Expert Mode. There will be certain pathways that are completely useless for the said playthrough because they are only really designed for specific playthrough runs in the main campaign of Shadow the Hedgehog with the whole karma system. So, there are just certain areas you thankfully don't need to go down if you want to go ahead and just make your way through this entire said playthrough, which is good. There are just a lot of obstacles I just don't want to be dealing with. Honestly, lighting all the torches here, it takes a lot of time, so I'm glad we don't have to do that. Here we got ourselves a blank capsule, and the only one like it in the game. We've seen blank capsules before, but not specifically like that.
Death to all who oppose me.
Now here's Cream. We save her, and then this gate opens up for us to take a spring straight up. Now, we just gotta continue forward. You don't need to be finding cheese in this to complete the said stage. Thankfully, if you find both Cream and cheese, it doesn't just instantly end the level, but we will be needing to find cheese later for a different set of progression. For right now, we want to get on the back of the said Blackhawk and continue forward. This section, just like in the main playthrough, is just as awkward for the Blackhawk to maneuver. There's a lot of areas that's not easy to maneuver with this creature. Thankfully, he has a health bar, so we can take a couple hits and we'll be fine. Just make sure the health bar doesn't deplete to 0. Otherwise, he may be falling out of the sky. Almost got enough things sucked up in the egg vac here to get an extra life, and this section is probably good we have this because they put fire on the rails, and the fire is not the easiest to deal with if you don't have a vacuum gun. So thankfully we just have one for beating the neutral playthrough. Open the doorway up ahead here, take care of that said alien because we're close enough to our meter being filled. Not enough where the next set of aliens should give me a chaos control, but close enough, which will be good. This section, you gotta really be careful. As you can imagine here, one wrong move, very easy to fall. So just wait for these platforms to line themselves up with this little baby hawk, and now we can light speed dash across the pit. Give me a gun, make this a little bit easier. And we do need a torch, which is kind of a problem in this section. They don't give you a torch right here. And then you're presented with a door you need torches to light. So let's go back a bit, because thankfully up here, hey, would you look at that? A torch. I'm gonna ignore these black arm aliens, because honestly right now, this is not the best area to use chaos control. So we're gonna hold off on it. Use this said bomb. Thankfully, it actually hit the wall. Looked like that was a little too far away. These walls you can break without using explosives and weapons, as I've shown in the past. It just takes a very long time, so you might as well use bombs. Hey, look, 10 punches. It takes 10 punches to destroy a wall. It's a little excessive. But we still need that torch. There's a reason why I'm not using it. So I'll just use this lance instead. Take out this said egg pong creature. And now, since we defeated that enemy, this wall starts to open up. We have to wait for the wall to fully move, which is definitely a slow wall. And besides all the aliens behind it, we got ourselves a torch we need to light. So light that. And from here, another wall opens up. In this section, yet another torch to light. And now with this one finally lit, this is the one we need to light to actually progress further. But we're not done doing arbitrary tasks just yet. The Chow Garden here in this set stage has moved into this room with the fans. We need to find the right Chow to progress, and you can still knock them down, as you can see. So, this is going to be a little awkward. Well, thankfully we found the real cheese. You must find cheese in that pile to continue, because cheese is the one that will activate the fan. I will say, my first time playing this specific stage in expert mode, that took me a very long time to figure out because it's really hard to see which Chow is cheese. You can barely tell. And nowadays, even with higher resolution, I still can't tell which one is cheese. I can't see the bow tie. It's just too small. So there's a lot of trial and error there. It might be better once you get to that specific section of Cryptic Castle, use your chaos control because you can bypass that entire puzzle section. No bursting down walls, no lighting a bajillion different torches. You can just skip the entire section, which is probably better, honestly, in hindsight. But that is it for Cryptic Castle. The little obstacle boss creature here at the end is still pretty much a joke as long as you mash the X button. You'll outrun the creature even in expert mode. Before we move on from Cryptic Castle, I want to talk about how the Dark Mission is normally structured here in this level. When going through this level here in Expert Mode, I talked about how there's really no reason to go down the Dark route because, simply put, a lot of your paths are going to be broken off when it comes to going around in very specific areas due to these set torches. In fact, some torches don't even exist in the Expert Mode version here of Cryptic Castle, meaning it is impossible to light all 5 torches via normal means. Now, you may have caught on to what I just said there, via normal means, because there are ways to circumvent this issue, but there's no reason to. Lighting all 5 torches here for the Dark Side mission of Cryptic Castle in Expert Mode is entirely pointless. In fact, right here we are at the second torch that you can't get to in the Expert Mode version of this level, but with a well-timed spin dash jump, you can light the said torch, but nothing happens. So this right here proves that the Dark Mission is entirely impossible in this said stage, and if you go out of your way to light these torches, there's really no point. You only have to light the very first torch here in this said level to actually continue forward with the normal progression. But the secret path here for collecting all 5 secret keys, it's still possible to get to here in Expert Mode. It's a lot harder, as you've seen, because you need a well-timed spin dash jump to make it over to where the said vault door is, but if you manage to get to this top path and you have all 5 keys, this does bypass the entire Chow puzzle down below, which is a very nice thing, because normally I would save up a chaos control for that section to skip it entirely, but with the keys, you don't even need to worry about chaos control because you can skip it by just going down a completely different path. But here at the 4th torch, if you light it and then go down the path where the Dark Mission would normally take you, this wall here does open up, but only so far, as after a short while of the wall moving back, it will stop moving eventually, blocking you from going down the dark pathway. You can build up Chaos Control, rub your face against the said wall, and use Chaos Control to clip through the wall, which will put you into the final section here of the dark pathway in Cryptic Castle. Then from here, you just play the level normally, ride the Black Hawk to the final torch, and from here, if you lit all of the other torches along the way, this would be your 5th and final torch. And normally, in the Dark Side mission, this would end the level, but here, lighting all 5 torches doesn't do anything at all. There's no significance to any of these torches outside of the first one, so if you end up coming down this route, you're simply just wasting your time. From here, you would just warp back over to a previous checkpoint, continue down the main path until you get to the goal ring, and finish the stage normally. There are some levels like this in Expert Mode where you can try to do another mission's route, and you'll be met with either dead ends, or just a situation like in Cryptic Castle, where those specific objects you would mess with for a specific mission, they no longer work here in Expert Mode, meaning that you waste your time. So, for the most part, just go down very specific paths here, trying to find your way to the end of the stage as fast as possible, as you're rewarded more for that kind of exploration, building up your said hero meter to use chaos control, getting to the goal ring as fast as you can. But with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our next stage here in the Expert Mode run, Prison Island.
I know this place. It feels like I've been here before. Hey, Shadow! You're hanging in there? I know. Training is training. Now, be careful. Go find that gold ring.
Vector, can you please speak up next time you talk? Because I barely heard a word you said. I get the point. Training hard, find goal ring. But my gosh, man, you gotta speak up. So, this stage here, Prison Island, for the most part, is very similar to its original run-through, but there are certain paths that are just gonna be flat out impossible to get to now. So, for example, down this stretch of poisoned water, there would normally be a platform that would take us to the upper path here, but that platform doesn't exist here in the Expert Run. So, certain sections here are just impossible for you to get to. So it would be a lot more of a linear experience this time around going through the stage. For this stage, we do have to make our way through the entire thing, which means we are going past where the neutral goal ring will be located, and we're going towards where the final collectible would be for the hero mission. So we got a lot to do here in this stage. Go ahead, suck things up right here. Don't bother flipping the platform, there's no real point. We're gonna use our egg vac to take care of the fire, which makes this a lot more convenient, because it's on a platform you need to jump on, but also to jump on the platform, you're probably gonna burn yourself, so vacuum gun it is. Right here, we could unlock the secret door for some big missile Vulcan cannons, but I'm not needing those. Let's take care of all the enemies in this section, and from here, we got a beetle, attack this guy, lightspeed dash trail ring happens. That's a lot at once. Let's just get out of here with chaos control. This section is basically the same as the vanilla version of Prison Island, so we'll just use this area for a chaos control extension, meaning we go a lot further than what the game anticipates for the chaos control power, which is very helpful in our case. That's a lot of level skipped. And thankfully, right where our chaos control ends, we have another saucer that we can continue to level like normal. Otherwise, we would be taking a lot of intentional damage here just to continue. You can go through the entire poison water section of the stage without using a doom saucer like this, but it's not recommended. You'll need to have a lot of patience to make your way through the stage without using a saucer. You have to keep on getting rings, which is not the most comfortable feeling once you have to keep on going back and forth for rings after you get hit, and it's very easy for you to screw that up. So just use the saucer, I'm just saying. I'll take this top path here, that's the only way forward. But also the homing attack loves to hit other enemies. If you get stuck down here in this cage section, there is a box you can jump on which gets you out, thankfully. But in this section, you do have to triangle jump your way over to the other side. Careful on the final jump, it is possible to just jump to heaven, essentially. Shadow will try to continue jumping to another wall, but at the very end of that wall jumping section, it is possible for Shadow to still try to target a wall when there's not a wall in front of him. Meaning he's just gonna go out until he hits a death plane. So be careful about that final triangle jump section. Thankfully, we don't have too much level here left before we get to the goal ring. And if we stick to these platforms that we jump on to take a shortcut, we'll just get launched straight to the goal ring for our final jump. Which means we don't even have to bother fighting some worms down below. We can just go straight to the goal ring and end the stage.
Perfect.
What do you mean the game is broken with jumps? I know, it's like early 2000 Sonic. That phrase and broken, they're basically symmetry. Except the song, though, that got cut.
Hey, Shadow. I heard you were taking some sort of training. They say you need to make it to the ballroom, right? Good luck.
Thanks, Amy. Also, why isn't Amy talking to me here? It should be Tails. Tails was my companion here, and Amy was my companion back in Cryptic Castle. Feels a little backwards, don't you think? For this stage, you would have needed to get a lot of rings for the hero mission, but doesn't really matter. Since this level is designed for you to get so many rings, on the other hand, though, you will always have more than enough rings in a lot of situations where you're going through a checkpoint, so because of that, there'll be plenty of times where you can easily get yourself an extra light just by going through said checkpoints. So this is also a pretty good level if you need a lot of lives. Some of the minigames for the ring balloon sections, they are not here anymore, but some of them still do exist. So there are plenty of opportunities to get rings here. Now wait for this beetle to get rid of his electric shield, and from here, we'll just take this top half shortcut. Get ready, because this pulley here is the fastest pulley known to man. You barely have enough time to react to anything, including the balloons at the very end. Not the best situation to be running through the level that fast. In fact, you go so fast the camera can't even keep up with you by the end, so maybe I should have slowed you down a little bit, game. Just saying. Got ourselves plenty of enemies, so we can use chaos control. Might as well just use it here. Careful in that section, steer my way back. I have had this game drop me into a pit before using chaos control, specifically in this section. So let's just try to not have that happen. Now, there may be another section you would rather save chaos control for, and it's coming up. Normally, I would save my chaos control for this upcoming section as well, but
Damn it.
for the sake of showing off how different level structures work here in the expert mode run, I'm gonna be doing something very risky. So do as I say, not as I do kind of situation here. You'll want chaos control for this upcoming section. But for now, let's just make our way down, try to get some extra lives on the way. Because right here, if I hit this spring dead center in the middle, we will be able to get ourselves 50 rings. Unfortunately, it's not the case, but you don't get extra lives from rings in this game. So it's fine. In this section, just keep on pressing the X button to get more speed. Because of those egg bombs, you'll clip straight through them. This section, oh, this is the section I recommend having a chaos control on standby. This is some of the most precise platforming you will ever do in expert mode. It is very nerve-wracking, and while you may have your drop shadow to see where you're gonna jump, this section is very, very nerve-wracking to make your way through, and in this case,
Not here.
one wrong move, and it's very easy to fall to your death. This here is why I recommend having chaos control and also plenty of lives while playing expert mode. Because in this specific situation, you want as many lives as possible. You may have a lot of do-overs here. Thankfully, this is the hardest part of Circus Park. After this, the level is essentially the same as its normal counterpart. But get used to platform sections like this in expert mode, because some levels do like to change things up pretty drastically, just like this. So use your camera here, this will be your best friend. So using that second analog stick, control the camera where you need it. Pay attention to where your drop shadow is, being very careful, and because I died, the platforming cycles are vastly different, which makes that a lot harder too. Also be careful of the fire rings, because they can easily knock you into a pit, which is very, very bad. There's a lot of problems in that section. I don't know if you've noticed, you probably just want to skip over chaos control. There's my extra rings. This will help because there's one more checkpoint coming up. Might as well take out these specific gun robots because I want a good amount of ammo for a thing upcoming here too, which this doesn't really matter, but outside of using the secret key area, this is the only time you can play the balloon shooting minigame here. And it's definitely a hard one because the only balloons you can shoot are the golden balloons, but there's plenty of Eggman balloons mixed in, so If you're needing more rings at this point so you can hit a checkpoint for an extra life, this might be a good way to get more, but I've never really been able to get the 50 rings from this. Usually it's only 5, maybe 10 rings. But thankfully right here, there's an extra life at this section of the tent here in Circus Park. So just go under the wall, get yourself a free extra life. That's much better than trying to go for rings. And now we're at the end of the level. We don't have to do anything else at this point besides ride this final pulley to the goal ring, and that's it. Thankfully, this one is not on super speed like the pulley from the beginning of the stage. This one runs at a normal speed, which this is the one you would want to go faster, in my personal opinion. It's a lot longer of a pulley ride. A lot more fire rings here, but not really the worst thing to dodge. And with that, we're done with one final jump scare that ends Circus Park. And now with Circus Park completed, we're gonna end things here. Next time on Let's Play Shadow the Hedgehog Expert Mode, we'll be making our way through our next set of stages here in the Expert Mode run, starting off with Central City. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.